Finally. Speaker null is not working. Please go to settings. What? Yeah, there's another thing that once I connect to HDMI, I just lose control. I cannot do anything here. I can't click anything, nothing. No, basically I cannot click anything, nothing happens. Yeah, whenever I click, I just have to remove this. Now I have access. AirPlay is not working. The speaker. You have some audio for us today? No, no. I think that was only if you wanted to use a speaker. Really? Yeah, that's what it was. Okay, am I audible, online devotees? Yes, Prabhu. Okay, thank you. Okay, it has some problem. So I would unmute the TV because the audio source is not the TV. Okay. Okay. I think this is fine. Hare Krishna. Once all of you are done, I'll start. We'll just go to 17th verse. So as of now, we are studying the 4th chapter of the Bhagavad Gita. And last time, what were we saying? Any quick? You did, Sachin? You did revision? No? Okay, any quick points from last time? You remember? Yes, any one point? We were discussing the 3 types of karma. Okay, thank you. Anything else we discussed? 3 types of karma. Actually, remembrance is also by practice. If we don't practice recalling from memory, then we are practicing to forget. Because every moment we are practicing. So one good thing is to practice remembrance is if you can memorize shlokas, keep doing that, and the memory becomes sharp. And you can recall what happened last week, last week, so on and so forth. Anyway, so we'll start from there. Because I don't have so much time to revise also. We were discussing about the 3 types of karma. Let me just take you to 4th chapter in brief. Yeah. 4th chapter, Krishna is talking about transcendental knowledge. That means knowledge not of this material world, but spiritual knowledge. That is transcendental. What do you mean by transcendental?
Beyond the material worldly affairs.
Very good. So anything that is beyond the 3 modes of material nature, which is beyond sattva, rajas, and tamas, or mode of goodness, passion, ignorance, is called as transcendental. So anything we practice in spiritual life, it is supposed to take us above the 3 modes. The 3 modes can be thought of as 3 varieties of handcuff. The mode of goodness, sattva, is golden handcuff. Mode of passion, rajas, is silver handcuffs. And mode of ignorance, tamas, is iron handcuffs. Which handcuff would you prefer? No, not gold. I thought you would take it and sell it. Yeah, we don't want to be handcuffed in any of these handcuffs. So therefore, Krishna says in the 14th chapter of the Bhagavad Gita, Mam cha yoga vicharena bhakti yogena sevate sagunan samatityetan brahma bhuyaya kalpate. That means anyone who practices spiritual life, as Krishna is speaking. Last time what we were talking is spirituality cannot be concocted, isn't it? So in the previous verse, I think 14, 15, in the purport Srila Prabhupada writes, spirituality is set by Krishna. Dharma is set by Krishna, isn't it? So when we follow or practice spirituality as said by Krishna, what happens? Thank you, Prabhu. What happens is we become transcendental. That means that is the time we can celebrate independence. Simply waving our national flag is not independence. How many of you feel, see, all of you Indians, anyone out of India? Any Nepal or Bangladesh? Yeah. So, how many of you feel you're India already attained independence?
From what?
From what? You tell me. You do you feel you're free?
No.
No, that's therefore no independence. Hare Krishna. So the three modes of material nature are like the three handcuffs that are binding us to this material world. And these three modes of material nature, they first enact on the mind, and when we follow the mind, we are basically being bound to material nature. So Krishna says, Mamchayo vyabhicharena bhakti yogini sevate. Anyone who practices bhakti towards me, for such a person, he goes beyond the three modes to the platform of Brahman or spiritual platform. Brahma bhuyaya kalpate. Sagunan samatityetan Brahma bhuyaya kalpate. 14th chapter Krishna says. So for us, what is important? This transcendental knowledge, what Krishna is explaining in the 4th chapter, this knowledge is that knowledge which will unbind us from the material world. Imagine yourself being tied to a chair. Your mouth is, a plaster is put, your hands are tied at the back, your feet are tied together. Can you escape? No, you cannot escape. You're not free. You cannot do what you want. So therefore, liberation means what? You're cutting the ropes that is tying you down. And what are these ropes? The ropes of sattva, rajas, and tamas. The three ropes of material nature. They are binding us down to this material world. So therefore, this transcendental knowledge is very, very important. In case you are interested to put a full stop to all suffering. In case you're interested to not be affected by suffering, then you have to go beyond the three modes. So therefore, we have the 4th chapter, transcendental knowledge. In this chapter, we see how Krishna is explaining to Arjuna that this knowledge is eternal. Knowledge is not created at a point in time. Knowledge always existed. And Krishna told Arjuna that this knowledge is received in sampradaya, in a disciplic succession. You cannot just ask anyone and get this knowledge. Like a famous guru in India, he said, I have never read the Bhagavad Gita, but I still preach. So really, what is he preaching? And how much is it going to help the welfare of the society in general? Because what he's preaching is his own mental concoction. If you have not read the scriptures, the Vedas, then it's not really going to help anyone. So Krishna says that this knowledge has to be accepted in parampara. Evam parampara praptam imam raja rishayo viduhu sakalena mahata yogo nashta parantapa. And because though it was spoken millions of years ago to the sun god, and there was a parampara, but due to the force of time, effect of time, that knowledge has been lost. As is everything in this material world. Everything degrades with the influence of time. So knowledge also was lost, and therefore, Arjuna, I'm again speaking to you this knowledge. And why you? Because you are my devotee and a friend. So if you want to understand spiritual knowledge, we have to have the right approach or attitude. Yes, friend.
Question.
Yeah.
So, is it wrong if we go on Harinam and we're doing book distribution to distribute a book that we haven't read ourselves?
It's not wrong. You can always distribute, but it's always best to read it oneself. Once a book distributor was distributing books, and she came across a car and she knocked on the window. The window opened slightly. Mm. And from inside, a voice came asking for explanation of what are these books. And she was saying something here and there. And then the window slided down, and it was Sri Prabhupada sitting in the car. And he said, before you distribute my books, first you read them, and then you distribute my books. Isn't it? So better to read them. Otherwise, people feel that if you're just distributing without you yourself reading them, you're like cheating them. Some people feel that.
Even I feel.
Okay.
How can I give this without knowing what it is?
Yeah. So then Krishna is saying here, I'm giving you this. If you really want to understand that knowledge, that precious knowledge which can free you from all suffering, then you need to be my devotee and friend. Bhakto sime sakha cheti. Rahasyam hyetad uttamam. Then Krishna talks about himself. That how his body is transcendental. It's not mundane. Krishna's body doesn't have veins, digestive system, fire. He doesn't feel indigestion. These things don't happen for Krishna. It only happens for us. Isha Upanishad explains his body is called as Asnaviram. Asnaviram means there are no veins in his body. There is no blood flowing in his body. It's like a sugar-coated candy. You have candy figures, completely sweet. So Krishna's form is also like that, completely spiritual, Satchidananda. Yeah.
Why in Isopniषद only it is used? Like no, like the name is not taken. Only pronoun
The
is used.
host muted everyone. Just a minute. Who is the host? I'm really wanting to know. How do I find out who the host is? I'm only host, but I didn't mute anyone. Krishna is telling me, showing to me how I'm not in control.
The screen is not showing anymore.
Yeah, it didn't. She just stopped everything and said host has muted everyone. Yeah, sorry, Prabhu. Please ask a question. Yes.
In Isopniषद, it's just the pronoun.
Yeah. Upanishads are meant for Gyanis. That means you cannot directly tell a Gyani Krishna is God. He'll say, no, no, no. He needs to think about it. That's a Gyani. So therefore, Upanishad language is very difficult language, so that they can get little confused and they get some kick out of it to think. But a certain Upanishad is there. For example, Narayana Upanishad. In Narayana Upanishad, it is said, Brahmani Devaki Putro, Brahmano Devaki Putro, Brahmano Madhusudana. Who is Devaki Putra? Krishna. Who is Madhusudana? Krishna. So Brahman is Krishna, it is mentioning. The Narayana Upanishad. So certain Upanishads says, and other Upanishads just is just difficult language. It's because it's for the Gyanis, for them to speculate. Yeah. Sorry. Brahman means spiritual. So in the context of the Narayana Upanishad, refers to the Par Brahman, the Supreme Lord. Says Brahmano Devaki Putro. Yeah. So here Krishna is saying how his descent is not like our descent into this world. When we descend in this world, we come with, we first of all start crying when we come into this world, and then we are bloodied, isn't it? So much of pain. But when Krishna comes to this world, everyone becomes happy. Actually, Krishna came out with a smile. Anyone had such a birth experience? Came out with a smile, with kundal and mukut and everything? No. And to reassure Devaki and Vasudev, Krishna also showed his Vishnu form. Just tell them, I'm here, don't worry. So this transcendental. His birth is transcendental and his activities are transcendental. So why is Krishna saying this? Then the next verse is that anyone who gets to know Janma Karma Chame Divyam Evam Yoveti Tattvataha Taktva Deham Punar Janma Naiti. Arjuna, anyone who understands the spiritual nature of my birth and activities, such a person never takes birth again in this material world. You know what does that mean? That means no more suffering. That means no more job interviews. It means no more exams, no more competition, no more unhealthy comparisons, no more, dog eat dog world, isn't it? That's what it means. And it's so easy. What should you do for it? Just understand Krishna's birth and activities. That's what 4.9 says. Yeah. Then one overcomes attachment, fear, anger, because he becomes a devotee of Krishna. Okay. So we have been going through these verses, and we also talked about the demigods, position of gods, the 12th verse, and 13th we talked about how Krishna is beyond varnashrama, how Krishna is beyond karma, how Krishna is beyond the three modes of material nature. See, 14th, Krishna says, there is no work that affects me, nor do I aspire for the fruits of action. And one who understands this truth about me also does not become entangled in the fruitive reactions of work. And now, 16th verse, even the intelligent are bewildered in determining what is action and what is inaction. This is where we started this section of karma. Even the most intelligent people cannot understand every detail of how karma works. And therefore, Krishna says, Gahano karmano gatihi. And we'll start from there, 4.17. We went through this, but we'll just go again. Can you please repeat? Karmano hi api bodhavyam. Bodhavyam cha vikarmanaha. Akarmanascha bodhavyam. Gahana karmano gatihi. See, bodhavyam means to be understood. Okay.
The intricacies of the action are very hard to understand. Therefore, one should know properly what action is, what forbidden action is, and what inaction is.
Yes. We should know what action will entangle us and what action will free us from this world. What is good karma? What is bad karma? Because the yoga process starts with yama and niyama, the do's and the don'ts. If we don't even know how to act, what is the scope for us to make spiritual advancement? It's not possible. In any field, we need to know what is right, what is wrong, what should be done, what should not be done. Only then we can make progress. So therefore, Krishna is saying, a person who wants to make progress in spiritual life, such a person has to understand what is allowed sanctioned karma, what is akarma, spiritual karma, and what is forbidden karma, vikarma. Okay. This is what we did last time, and now we will start with today's verse. What is that something? Hare Krishna. Sorry, there's some technical problems. It is a test of my tolerance. Karmanya karmaya pasyet akarmani cha karmaya sabuddhiman manusyeshu sayukta kritsna karma krit. Sayukta kritsna, not Krishna. Sayukta kritsna karma krit. Okay, thank you. Okay, buddhiman means intelligent. So Krishna is saying, who is intelligent? A very interesting translation. One who sees inaction, action, action, action is intelligent among men. Yeah? And he is in transcendental position, although engaged in all sorts of activities. Okay, so mental work for all of you. Can you please decode this? What do you mean by action, 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 action? Can you, a little louder? Does it work? Sure? No, it doesn't work. No, it doesn't work. Yeah, please continue.
The absence of karta bhav.
Okay. Absence of karta bhav. What is absence of karta bhav?
Absence of karta bhav means that you understand that anything that you are doing, right, you are actually not the doer.
Okay, that is what?
Absence of action. Yeah.
Does action in action or inaction action? Yeah.
In action. That is the absence of karta bhav.
Okay. How can you not act? What do you mean by inaction? Inaction. There's action, but there's inaction. What do you mean by that?
Understand that, like, you are actually not doing it, right? Anything you are doing, you are like made to do that based on your senses, right? You are actually like, let's say,
Oh, naturally, senses are doing it. Okay.
action.
Okay, yes.
uh, Inaction. I mean, I can say action in action.
Just a minute. Check now. Oh, sorry, I have to mute here. Yeah, now we check. Bolo?
Hare Krishna.
Yeah. You can just keep it with you. Just hold in your hand. Yeah.
So, action in action means like, I can give an example like
Yeah.
a person who is doing hard working without inaction. Like he's not using a knowledge, but he's doing hard working.
Okay, you are saying one who just acts without thinking. That's what you're saying.
Yeah, but he's doing hard working. Like
Yeah,
some
like donkey.
Yeah, you can say that.
Okay.
Offering,
Yes.
I'm not sure, but I
Can you
think
pass
it
the
is
phone?
something like.
This is your mic. Just hold it here.
So I'm not sure, but is it something like when people say like when you're angry, don't react. Like you should not say something. So isn't like that in action?
Inaction in action. Okay. And what is action in inaction?
That I can't.
Okay. Yeah. Any last tries?
offering, understand that you are just an like instrument of God, and like anything that you are doing.
So
you
what
are-
is that? You're talking about the inaction in action or action in action?
That is now action in action. Like an
Okay.
instrument of God. In action. नहीं, वो तो पहले वाला था action का. Action is anything you are doing, but you are just like an instrument of God. And anything you are doing for pleasing Him. It's like you do not exist, and I mean, kind of that anymore. Like as a
You don't
self-
exist?
as a self.
आप तो पूरा you're taking a diverted route to Buddhism and coming.
I feel like it is selfish, right? Anything that you do, you are doing for Krishna. So like that. That
You're
aspect
doing for
for Krishna.
Krishna. Okay. That is which one? Inaction in
That is
action?
then action. आप confuse कर रहे हो that is
हम थोड़ी confuse कर रहे हैं, हम बस पूछ रहे हैं.
action in action. Like anything you are doing, like you are doing for like Krishna. You are just an instrument of God, and you are anything that you do, you are doing for pleasing Him.
Okay. Thank you. Seniors? Yes, I didn't know.
The first one means
Next.
you're
Ah.
not bound to it,
The first one is you're not bound to it.
and the second one, action to inaction, is you don't desire the results. You don't.
Okay, first one is you're saying you're not bound to it. Second one you're saying you don't desire the results. So both are the same. When you don't desire results, you're not bound to it. But they're two opposite things. Inaction, action are two opposite
And
things.
you know that you are not attached to the results of it.
So which one? Let's put it as 1 and 2, right? 1 or 2?
In action. Like because anything that you are doing, you know you're not doing the results of it, you're detached from it.
Okay.
That
So
is
that binds you or doesn't bind you?
doesn't bind.
Doesn't bind you. I don't think so. Yeah. Seniors want to try? No?
समझ प्रभु बोलो.
So like whatever action you do based on like let's say an
So therefore it says, see, anyone who sees inaction, action is intelligent amongst men. Therefore it's not easy to decode. Yes.
So my action is I'm performing some service of cleaning pots. In that action,
Is that action or inaction?
that's an action from my end. But then
It's not.
inaction of
नहीं गए. Inaction तो होता है कर्म.
I want to hear from Samaksh.
I think considering the previous information what we had about three types of karma.
Yeah.
So in action we can say it's the spiritual activity, and
Yeah.
action is the karmic activity,
Correct.
positive or negative.
Correct.
So in action is that you are getting inaction. Yeah. So if you're doing a spiritual activity, for example, offering a lamp to the Lord, so you're doing an action, but actually you're not getting a karmic reaction out of it. So that's inaction in action.
Okay.
And action in inaction is like yeah, so it's like Shrama Evakeva.
Action in inaction.
Or maybe not doing anything.
Yeah, so action in inaction is like you are actually doing something for spiritual activity, like walking to the temple
So both are spiritual,
Doing something, but it's not
but actually the opposite.
Oh, it's
Okay, so here what inaction is it means one doesn't get any karma. Hmm. Or you can say it doesn't count. Inaction. Yeah. So one who can see inaction in action, and one who can see action in inaction. That means when we do spiritual activity, then it actually counts. Then it's actually action. Then it actually helps you progress in the path of spirituality. When you do akarma. But when you're doing karma, then actually it is inaction because there's no progress. You able to understand? So here, inaction is used in two understandings. One is it doesn't produce, it is like zero. Other inaction is it is materially zero. Hmm. So one who sees inaction in action means one who can see person in this world. He is working day from morning to night, hard work. He's earning for the family. He is working hard in the company. He is really losing his sweat working. So basically, this type of work where there is no Krishna in the center but just hard work actually is inaction. It is a zero. Why it is a zero? Because it is material life is like a Ferris wheel. You know Ferris wheel? You go to the top, you're very happy, but at the time of death you'll come down. So summation of summation in mathematics you study, summation of material life is what? Zero. So therefore, other people will say, "Oh, look at this guy." Like some of my relatives say, "What are you doing? You're just wearing saffron and sitting. Look at your cousins; they're doing so much in this world. He got this job. Your friend now he's in Google, and another friend is in Meta." So they say so they're working a lot. But now, according to Krishna's calculation, if they're not putting Krishna factor in their life, it is looks like action, but it actually is inaction. Actually, they're not doing any work. Is that understandable? That is inaction in action. And now, some people, when we practice spiritual life, the society tells us, "Oh, what are you doing for the society? You're not doing anything. You're not working in. You're not contributing to the society, to the GDP. So many things." So now it looks like inaction, but actually we are acting. Why? Because that action counts. Because spiritual life is not like a Ferris wheel. Anything you deposit in your spiritual account, it is forever to stay. How many of you have opened your spiritual bank accounts? Others have not opened spiritual bank account. It's free to open. If you've chanted once Hare Krishna, you have opened it. Yeah. Okay. Others have not opened yet. You have to open it because whatever you invest, it is never taken. It's only added even after this life. Yes, Prabhu. Yeah. I can tell you, you can make it spiritual. You will get some spiritual credit, but you cannot say next life that I was a Facebook employee. Please give me a job today. Now you cannot say. So material work is always put to zero. But whatever you offer to Krishna, that spiritual credit you get. But at the same time, it cannot be a business transaction. Like Prahlad says, Savai Vanik. He says such people who do this business transaction, okay, I go to Balaji and put in some donations so that I have done my yearly contribution. So he will take care of me. He'll make sure my prosperity is happening intact. So such people, Prahlad calls them as a merchant. He's not a devotee, he says. Yeah, the intention. So when we even if we get a PhD degree in physics, next life we will start with Baba black sheep, have you any food? Yes sir, 3 bags full. You cannot say I was a PhD in past life in physics, give me my degree. Everything is taken away at the time of death. Hmm. So therefore summation material life is zero. Because plus, then here minus. Time of death, everything is gone. But spiritual life is plus, and it is longitude, vertical. It just goes up and up. Well, it's up to you how much you want to invest. You can invest 0.1 today. Next life you can invest 2. So only 2.1%. of spiritual progress. Then next life you can invest one more percent, or you can invest 100% this life. It can devotional service or bhakti yoga is as gradual as you want it to be. Yeah. Yes.
How much do I need to invest so that I don't come back?
Come back where? To this material world?
I don't want to use the account.
No. Once open, which account? Material account.
Like how much account balance I need so that I don't come
Yeah.
back.
Easy. You just have to understand Krishna's activities and birth as spiritual. That means keep hearing about Krishna, keep chanting his holy name and associating with devotees.
That you need, if someone's working in some XYZ firm and they give that success to, like, it's because of Krishna. So can one give their failures as well, like it's because of Krishna?
I mean, giving failure means you want to blame Krishna.
No, not blame, but it's
And
like
when you fail, you can only give blame.
Yeah.
I don't think you have anything
No,
to.
there's no such. But isn't this biased because your success is given by Krishna, but your failures are given by your free will?
No, okay. So let me explain to you the mechanism. Actually, when we put endeavor in this world, then even our success or failure, the ability to work, Krishna says, the ability in man is me. In 7th chapter, Krishna says. So the very fact that you were able to act, which led to a success or failure, but very fact you were able to act is because of Krishna. So therefore, you can give credit to Krishna that because of you, I was able to act. Now, when you think of the fruit of the result of your work, then if we get something good, then Krishna is sanctioning the good. So we say, thank you, Krishna. But when we get something bad, instead of seeing, now here what we have to see is how do we view the result. Now, if you say, oh, Krishna, because of you, I failed, that means immediately you're putting a block in your progress. Why? Because he's only the sanctioner, isn't it? But at the same time, he's giving you ability to work. So now if Krishna sanctions failure, then we should see why is this failure coming? Because of my past karma. So I was supposed to suffer because of my past karma. At the same time, now someone can ask, similarly, because I did good, I got good result. Why should I give the credit to Krishna? When good happens, then you see that Krishna is giving you ability. When you have this view, so when you get success, you give to Krishna. When you have failure, you take the blame that I did not perform well enough. Then that keeps us humble. You able to understand?
But
Yeah.
that keeps us humble. I get
Yeah.
that point.
Yeah.
I'll ask.
What answer? Otherwise, you can take the you can take the credit for both success and failure. That's not a problem. But you're not.
We are
Yeah.
not the doer. If Krishna is making us do things, then how can I take?
Yeah, Krishna is making you do things means what? Say a person is smoking. Is Krishna for putting the cigarette in his mouth? Huh?
Maybe let's say someone is born in a Brahmin family and the association he got is different.
No, tell me this answer first. Is Krishna putting the cigarette in his mouth? So what do you mean by Krishna is acting? Who is acting?
The person.
But then everything is controlled by Prakriti. How is person acting? The soul desires. We've already discussed this. The tripod. There's soul. There's Krishna and Prakriti. Soul desires. I want to smoke, and it goes to Krishna. Krishna says, "Okay, you're very adamant to smoke. Desire sanction based on your karma credit. Okay, you smoke." Prakriti arranges. That means she makes sure that you have enough capacity to go to a smoke shop, purchase a cigarette and lighter and light it and put it in your mouth. That all Prakriti is handling. So what the soul can do is only desire. It cannot do so much. Yeah. So soul desires. It's like saying in India you have an Uber cab. In India, it's not that you pay first like in the US. You pay later, isn't it? So you catch the cab, you take the cab, you go to your destination to the airport, and then you get out of the cab and you coolly start walking away. In the cab, the driver will ask, "Hey, what about my payment?" You say, "Whose car is it?" Driver's car. Who drove the car? Driver drove the car. Why should I pay? isn't it? Driver drove his car, why should you pay? Then he will tell you, because you asked me to come here. I never had the intention to come here. Because it was your desire, you have to pay for it. Is clear?
Not ask the driver to pay half of the money.
Yeah, it is because of our desire. Krishna is only the sanctioner. But then you can give credit to Krishna because he has given us ability to work. That is the viewpoint of a devotee. Yes.
Truly, like you mentioned that, like Krishna says that anyone who understands the transcendental like birth and activities, right, he is like free from the cycle of birth and death. What if a person understands that, right, but still is like doing some bad activities, right? What happens to them? So just understanding that would free you from the cycle.
He wouldn't do it.
That means he hasn't understood. Like many people say, I know Krishna. Why are you telling me I don't need Bhagavad Gita? I know Krishna. If you really know Krishna, Krishna says, what is the symptom if you really know Krishna? Aham sarvasya prabhavo matta sarvam pravartate iti matva bhajante mam buddha bhava samanvitaha. If someone really knows Krishna, he will engage in his worship. If someone says, I know Krishna but doesn't engage in worship, that means he doesn't know who Krishna is. Yeah. You need further clarification? You need it. Oh, you got it.
Need it, yeah. Just
Okay. Yeah.
So if someone is having desires after knowing Krishna, he hasn't known Krishna.
He doesn't really know Krishna. He doesn't know how attractive Krishna is. Yeah. See, the material desires can be there, but the desire to pursue the material desires at the cost of spiritual life, that means he doesn't know Krishna. The material desires are there because we have interacted with the material world for a long time. Okay, so this is clear? Inaction, inaction, action, action. Who can explain? Just so that I'm sure. It's not very difficult, it's just words agree. Is it? Yeah, you want to see?
So there are two
Phone
things.
don't
There are two things: spiritual activities and material activities. So in action is that you are doing a lot of action, but there is but actually there is no action.
Correct.
This is material activity
Yeah.
because the summum bonum of all the material activity is zero.
Yeah.
And then action in action is that you are not doing anything.
Seems like
It seems
materially
like
you're not doing much.
materially you're not doing much, but actually you're doing a lot. So that is spiritual activity.
Yeah. Such a person who has understood this is intelligent among men. Buddhiman, Krishna says. And he is in the transcendental position, although engaged in all sorts of activities. He's in a transcendental position. Yeah. We'll just go to the purport. Not a big purport. Simple purport: a person acting in Krishna consciousness is naturally free from the bonds of karma. How is he? See, Prabhupada is saying anyone who is a devotee, person acting in Krishna consciousness is free from karma. But do devotees suffer also? If they're free from karma, how are they suffering?
They're not free from, they still have.
They have karma?
Oh, sorry, not
they have prarabdha.
like thoughts like
Yeah,
past
past
karma.
karma.
Okay, can you read the sentence loudly?
A person acting in Krishna consciousness is naturally free from the bonds of karma.
Yeah. Now can you see?
So even though they are suffering, they don't
feel
act.
it. They don't feel it. They're happy.
They don't feel it?
They're
Prabhupada is
okay with it. They're
traveling on the Jaladuta facing 2 heart attacks to come to the US. You think Prabhupada was not feeling heart attack?
Past karma maybe.
no, that is
Prabhupada had past karma?
I mean, everyone has some past karma.
Look at the statement. Person acting in Krishna consciousness is naturally free from the bonds of karma.
Then why do they get suffering?
Yeah. That's my question. Okay, there are three levels of people. One is the materialist. Materialist suffers because of his past karma. Yeah, he suffers the fruit, the activities, the reaction to his activities in the past. Now there are pure devotees like Prahlad. Prahlad also suffered, but Prahlad is suffering just because for him, like you said, you cannot be heartless to say devotees don't feel anything, but we can say that they're so absorbed in Krishna that they don't mind suffering. Yeah. And why do they suffer? Why do? It's not because of past karma Prahlad is suffering. Krishna puts his pure devotees in such positions to glorify his pure devotees in front of the whole world. Just imagine Prahlad never underwent suffering and then Hiranyakashipu was killed in a second by Narasimhadev. It's not a very nice, not a very attractive pastime. But when we see the tortures Prahlad undergoes by his father, and then you are anticipating to know whether Krishna will come or not to save him. Because Prahlad was put under the feet of celestial elephants. He was put in a pit full of snakes, a dungeon full of demons. He was put in hot boiling oil, put in fire. But he was only chanting name of Narayana. Nothing happened to him. So this what happens? Why is a pure devotee put through such suffering? To glorify him more and more. So Pandavas, suffering after suffering. If you just read the life of Pandavas, someone may go into depression. But they didn't go into depression. Why? Because the Pandavas are pure devotees. And Krishna is just glorifying them. Just look at my pure devotee. Whatever happens, he never goes away from me. Draupadi, after her Vastraharan, did she become a non-devotee? He said, hey Krishna, what level of test are you giving? After Draupadi Vastraharan. Better I don't be a devotee. Yes, that means whatever happens, devotees choose Krishna. Heaven or hell, I don't care. Krishna is my only gati. To glorify this aspect, pure devotees are put into suffering, seemingly suffering. And then sadhakas, us, we are not pure devotees, nor are we materialists, we are somewhere in between. For us, is also not previous karma. I'll tell you how. It's previous karma as well as it's not previous karma. Why? As soon as someone starts chanting Hare Krishna and is serious about advancing in spiritual life, Krishna has taken all the karmic account under him. Otherwise, karma is enforced by whom? Who enforces karma? Yes. Prakriti enforces karma. Krishna has nothing to do with it. He just sanctions it. But Prakriti enforces karma. So when he sees that this living entity is taking devotional service seriously, his spiritual life seriously, that time Krishna takes the karma under him. And now he sees that this devotee, he still has some wrong inclinations.
Some dirt still
Yes, some nahi, good amount. He is practicing devotee. So what Krishna does, he takes from that karma, because he took the karma of the living entity, he has it with him. Now he will give some aspect of karma to the devotee just to purify those dirt in the heart. Just enough. Therefore, once Sri Prabhupada was cooking in kitchen and disciple was helping him cut vegetables. Yeah. As he was cutting vegetables, he cut his finger and said, Prabhupada, your Krishna cut my finger, he said. Because I was cutting vegetables for Krishna and Krishna cut my finger. Just see. Prabhupada said, Krishna only cut your finger, whereas your neck was supposed to get cut. So Krishna only gives token punishment. Yeah. Little he gives to just get for us to understand, okay, I have to be careful. So now, for a devotee, is he under the influence of karma? No. He is under influence of Krishna. If you go to any ISKCON devotee, goes to any astrologer, they'll tell you. Like, Amog Leela Prabhu, very famous in India. So he went to an astrologer. He wanted to know, what is in set for him in future. So when he went to this astrologer, the astrologer asked, are you a disciple of a bona fide spiritual master? He said, yes, I have a bona fide guru. He said, do you follow the rules and regulations like no meat eating, no gambling, no illicit sex, no intoxication? He said, yes. Then he said, do you follow the order of guru like chanting Hare Krishna daily and other things? He said, yes. Then he said, I cannot determine your karma. Because now it's with Krishna. Astrologer said, not a devotee astrologer. You can go to any astrologer and ask. Because the karma of such a person is now handled by Krishna. No one can predict. In our community, there is one senior sannyasi, his own is Jayapataka Swami. Now he got some sort of a stroke which paralyzed his body to a great extent in 2008. And doctors said he would not live more than 1 year. Today he's still surviving and he's giving lectures while being paralyzed on a wheelchair. See? How many more years from 2008? 16 years more. And he's still going on. I don't know about that. I don't know about that. But you see, so even the doctors were amazed how can such miracle happen? According to their calculations, he was not supposed to live. So what happens is Krishna takes all the karma. He only gives that much which is required for our purification. So if you're becoming a serious devotee, if you're chanting Hare Krishna and still you are suffering, understand this is directly given by Krishna. It's Krishna's mercy. This is not karmic. This is not Krishna doesn't like you. Don't doubt Krishna does he exist. But this is Krishna's mercy. Therefore, he's purposely giving. Just to correct. Just like a father gives a scolding, or sometimes he may lift a hand. In US, not in US, but in India, he may lift a hand. But he may not slap, but he might lift a hand just to give a warning. So Krishna also gives warning to his sadhaka devotees. Is that clear? So therefore, a person acting in Krishna consciousness is naturally free from the bonds of karma. I'll ask you next week, what did you learn last week? His activities are all performed for Krishna. Therefore, he does not enjoy or suffer any of the effects of work. Whatever comes in the life of a devotee is Krishna's mercy. That's how he thinks. Consequently, he is intelligent in human society, even though he is engaged in all sorts of activities for Krishna. Akarma means without reaction to work. The impersonalist ceases fruitive activities out of fear. So there are some people, because they have had bad experience with the material world, they like to withdraw from the material world. Like say you went to a dentist to get cure of toothache, but he give you more toothache. Now is it right to say all dentists are quacks? No. So what impersonalist says is, they say that because I had a bad experience with one dentist, so therefore I don't want to go to any dentist. All dentists are quacks. Like that. That's what an impersonalist says. So they have got fear. It's like you have touched some, say washing machine, you got a shock. Now any washing machine you see, you are very scared to touch. The Hindi saying, no? Fung fung se. Huh? Yeah. Charge. Yeah. दूध का जला छाछ भी फूक फूक से फूक फूक कर पीता है. Isn't it? That means a cat, when it saw hot milk, it saw something white and put its tongue, immediately burned. And because it got burnt, now anything it sees white, it first does and drinks, even chance. Similarly, impersonalists, they have put their hand in the material world and they've got burnt. Probably some relationship didn't work out. They said all relationships are useless. And when we Bhakti yogis say, develop relationship with Krishna, again relationship, no more relationship. They want to avoid all kinds of relationship. Then once say impersonalists, they had some nice prasad, nice food. They got indigestion. So they feel all eating is useless. Isn't it? And then we say take Mahaprasad. They say no, all eating is useless. So therefore, impersonalist is one who rejects everything because they've got bad experience. So therefore, Prabhupada says an impersonalist ceases fruitive activities out of fear, so that the resultant action may not be a stumbling block on the path of self-realization. But the personalist or the Bhakti yogis, who believe in the personal form of the Lord, knows rightly his position as an eternal servitor of the Supreme Person of Godhead. And therefore, he engages himself in activities of Krishna consciousness. Because everything is done for Krishna, he enjoys only transcendental happiness in discharge of his service. Those who are engaged in this process are known to be without desire for personal sense gratification. It's not easy. It's a very high stage to act always without a desire for personal sense gratification. But we can do one thing. We can commit to Krishna at least half an hour in a day. Let me act selflessly for you. That half an hour, I will not act for my personal sense gratification. Is that possible? Yeah. At least when we chant, let us not chant thinking of so many other things. When we are chanting, let us put all the other thoughts aside. What gift would you like to give to a person who is very important to you? Something that is valuable, that is very worthy to you. There are other people who give gifts like, I don't know what to do with this. I have an extra phone. Let me just give it as a gift. Not like that. What is really valuable to you? That's what you will give to the person whom you love the most. So, what is most valuable to us? Time. Time is very valuable. Focus, yes, mental energy. And this is what we have to give to Krishna. And time also. What time? Not 11:30 p.m. to 12 a.m. That time, not people don't have so much importance. Morning time, especially the early morning time. Isn't it? That's the. It is said the sleep is sweetest in the early morning hours. True. So if we can give that to Krishna, get up in the Brahma Muhurta time, because even Brahma is chanting Hare Krishna in the Brahma Muhurta. He's also meditating on the Supreme Lord. And therefore, it's called Brahma Muhurta. Special moment, special Muhurta means 48 minutes. Give that to Krishna. Yeah, because to always throughout the day, throughout our life, to act without desire for personal gratification at this level is not really, it's not easy. We also want to do something, so a little for Krishna, a little for me. It's not everything for Krishna. We are not there, but we can start with, let me give some amount of time to Krishna, something to Krishna, completely just for his pleasure. How many of you think it's possible? Yeah, something we can give to Krishna for his pleasure, not to get anything back. Krishna will trick you saying that, okay, you give me this, you want anything in return? Probably a good job. You should say, Krishna, up to you. I'm not expecting anything. If you expect something, then vanik. That means merchant, businessman.
Can we expect more bhakti?
That you can expect. More bhakti, yes. That means you can say, yes, I want something. Give me more opportunity to please you. I'm only able to give half an hour. Give me capacity to give you 2 hours. Why 2 hours? 24 hours for you only. You can ask for that. And this is what happened with Prahlad. When Prahlad was saved by Hiranyakashipu, saved by Narsimadev, when Narsimadev came and killed Hiranyakashipu, ripped him to pieces, wore the garland of his intestine, and he was still roaring. He was not being pacified. But then all the other gods like Brahma, Shiva, they all started offering prayers to Narsimadev. Still, his anger did not calm down. Then Brahma told Prahlad, "It is for you the Supreme Lord has appeared. So you should go and offer prayers." At that time, he starts offering his beautiful prayers, where he's glorifying the Supreme Lord, and he's telling the Supreme Lord that how he doesn't want anything from him. Whatever, if like for example, Narsimadev asked, "Okay, Prahlad, I'm very pleased with the prayers. Please tell me what I can give you." Immediately Prahlad said, "You think I'm a businessman that I want something from you?" Narsimadev said, "No, no, you give me, ask me something. I want to really give you something." You know what Prahlad asked? "Please deliver my father." See, this Hiranyakashipu is like a terrorist who was terrorizing Prahlad with so many attempts of murder. And what is Prahlad asking? His deliverance. Because at the end of the day, he was my father. So Narasimhadev said, why one father? You're 21 generations up and 21 generations down. All are delivered. So ask something more for yourself. Like that he said. And then Prahlad said, "My dear Lord, for me, I'm satisfied just thinking about you." He says the word Magna Chitta. Magna Chitta means a sponge dipped in water. You just touch it, water will come out. My mind is also like that, dipped in your glories. So I'm completely satisfied. I don't need anything. But please grant me this boon that I don't want to go anywhere from this material world till the time each and every living entity in this world goes back to Godhead. This is his desire. Narsimdev said, "Sanction. Ask me something else." Then he said, "My dear Lord, what can I ask? It is because of your pure devotee Narada Muni, who is Prahlad's guru, that I got devotion to you. So I don't want anything but devotion to him. I just want to serve my guru." Narasimhadev said, "Granted." Then he said, "Okay, I just want association of devotees." This is what Prahlad is asking. So Narasimhadev is tricking him, testing him. Maybe you want something now for yourself. But Prahlad passed all the test. And he only asked for devotion, more and more service to his guru and Krishna. So when we also perform devotional service, we want to do it with good intention of selflessly trying to please Krishna. But then Krishna will test. He'll say, "Okay, you have done something for me. Okay, now take something in return." take some, around the world tour opportunity, take some prosperity, wealth, spouse, this and that, isn't it? You can you can accept it, but at the same time, not in turn, not in return for your devotional service. Don't cash in your bhakti. Yeah, but you give bhakti and give me something. Don't cash in your bhakti. So therefore, but at the same time, for a devotee, Krishna takes care. Whatever devotee doesn't have to fear. Prahlad, he never planned on becoming the king, but later he became the king. Krishna gives everything to his pure devotees. Isn't it?
Question. So
Yes.
I didn't know that Prahlad said he doesn't want to go back until everybody.
Yeah.
So he's Chiranjeevi. He's still in this pure world.
So, Prahlad, I can just check, but you can say that the conditioned souls are also infinite. Even at that time, Narsimdev would have delivered everyone. Very next moment, there's so many other souls who came back to this world. Yeah, infinite number of souls, conditioned souls.
So then that's how his criteria cannot be met then. I mean,
no. So at that time, whoever was there, they would have been delivered. Yeah, they would have been delivered. Yeah. Okay, so we'll just end this. Those who are engaged in this process are known to be without desire for personal sense gratification. So what did we discuss? We cannot do it all the time. At least some time in the day we should give, where we please Krishna without a desire for personal sense gratification. The sense of eternal servitorship to Krishna makes one immune to all sorts of reactionary elements of work. The sense of eternal servitorship means if we develop our relationship with Krishna, with him being the master and me being his servitorship, then what happens? There is no karma element that can touch us. Yeah. So we don't know what we have done in the past. Probably in one life I would have been a terrorist, isn't it? In another life I would have killed so many animals. So many sinful reactions yet to come back and make me suffer. But as soon as we take to bhakti, because the heart gets reformed, there's no need of punishment. So Krishna takes everything under his account. Yes.
Prabhu, is it wrong to ask guidance, like guide there, like whenever tough times or like what?
Actually, if you're a devotee of Krishna, you don't have to ask Krishna to be there. He's always there, isn't it? Krishna is always there. You know where he is? In our own heart. Krishna is there in our heart. So therefore, many people go and cry in front of Krishna. Krishna, do you know that this is what I'm going through? Krishna is saying, I know better than you what you're going through. Isn't it? So one thing, valuable thing, what we can ask Krishna is, please give me service to you. That's one thing. Otherwise, he knows our situation. You can ask for strength, that whatever I may go through, please let me not forget you. Let me not leave the association of devotees. Let me not doubt you. These things you can ask. The situation, Krishna knows better than us.
But is it like asking for guidance also?
Guidance is very good. Arjuna asked for guidance. Karpanya dosho bhata swabhava. Prichame tvam dharma samuda cheta. Yat shreyasyan nishchitam bruhi tanme shishyasteham shadimam tvam prapannam. Arjuna also needed guidance. He asked for guidance. That is wonderful. That means till now we were saying, this is my free will, my life, I will do what I want. Now Arjuna is telling Krishna, I am humbled. Now you tell me what I should do. That is very good. Any other question?
Impersonist and personist, like
Yeah.
those who believe in the imperson form of the Supreme and those who believe in the person form. Is it that the imperson form is the imperson form mentioned in
Impersonal form doesn't exist. Form means person.
So those who believe in the impersonists, those who are the impersonists,
Yeah.
do they have any reference in the scripture?
Yeah, definitely. Is God impersonal? How many of you say God is impersonal?
He's impersonal and personal.
Correct. He's both. So a very generic understanding is God is impersonal. But if it's like just like you're going in a train. When you from far you see what is a mountain, just a shape of mountain you see. Then as you get close, you will see some trees also there. It's green in color. From out, you cannot see green color mountain. You only see some brown or blackish something in the shadows at the back. As you get closer to the mountain range, you will see that some trees are there. When you go even further, you start climbing the mountain, you see there are houses and huts and civilization exist in the mountains, isn't it? So when we see God from very far, one sees him as just light. When you go close to Krishna, you understand, okay, he also has a form. He's like a judge. He judges you. If someone does bad, he gives bad reaction. If someone does good, he gives good reaction. But that's a very general, very broad understanding of God. But you go closer to Krishna, you understand Krishna is such a sweet person. He has such good qualities. His pastimes are so attractive.
Could also be said that those who believe that it is the personal form have a sense of superiority or superiority complex, that because we are near is the reason we are able to see, and those who take the other interpretation that it is impersonal,
Where is the superiority complex?
that we are near compared to those who don't believe in our faith, who do not match our belief. That is one conjecture one can come up with, right?
Well, you can say that it doesn't depend on what one says, what one conjectures. It depends on what the Shastras say.
What does Shastra say?
That Krishna is Vadanti tat tattvavidas tattvam yad jnanam advayam brahmeti paramatmeti bhagavan iti shabdyate. Bhagavatam 1.2.7? 7? I don't know. 11. I think it's 11. 1.2.11. So where there it is being said, the Supreme Person of Godhead has three features. First one is the broad feature of impersonal Brahmajyoti. Second is Paramatma. Third is Bhagavan. With impersonal Brahmajyoti, can you pray to impersonal Brahmajyoti? Where's the heart? Where's the head? Whom are you praying to? So you need Paramatma at least to acknowledge your prayers. But Paramatma, can you offer bhoga to Paramatma in the heart? Please eat. For that you need Bhagavan form. The highly, fully reciprocating, fully functionable form of the Lord, complete feature of the Lord is Bhagavan feature. You cannot reciprocate with light. What you can do with light? You can reflect it. What you can? How will you reciprocate with light? How will you develop relationship with light? Oh light, I love you. Can you say? Not Brahma Loka. They go to Brahma Jyoti that is just suspended in abyss of nowhere. But Arya Krishna Parampadam Tata Patanti Adha is said in 10th canto of Srimad Bhagavatam, which means because of lack of activity, the soul again comes back to the material world, and because he's already a little pure at heart, he starts opening, hospitals and NGOs, non-profit organizations, everything. Yeah. And 14 point, I forget the verse number. So in that, Krishna says, Brahmano hi pratishtaham. 14:27. Krishna says, Brahmano hi pratishtaham. I am the basis of impersonal Brahmajyoti. That means it is coming from me. Yeah. Sorry? Bhakti also. Yeah, because there are different four kinds of impersonalists. Yes, they know that God has a personal form, but they deride personal form. They say, my dear Lord, I don't want a personal form, I just want peace of mind. They have a good chance of coming back. Yes. But once you enter the planet, there's no coming back. Enter spiritual planet. Krishna says, Yad Gatva na nivartante. Once you go to a spiritual abode, don't come back.
What about people who reach Paramatma like the heart? Like, do they come back or they stay?
Who preach Paramatma? They are called as yogis. Dhyana vasasat katena manasa pashyantiyam yogino. So for them, they're personalist. Yogis are personalist. So they also enter a planet, spiritual planet. As soon as you accept the form of Lord, you have a spiritual planet because address hona chahiye. Where does he stay? If he has a body, he needs to stay somewhere. If you accept God as only light, then you go to Brahma Jyoti, from where to come to material world is again easy. Okay? Hare Krishna. I hope it was not too confusing. Action. Very interesting. So next time we'll continue with 19th verse. Yeah? Hare Krishna. So we will do our 5 minutes chanting. Your prasadam is secure. No need to worry about your prasadam. It's all under care, isn't it? Who is taking care? Indra Prabhu is there. Okay. One Prabhu is standing there just guarding your prasadam. So next 5 minutes, let us chant Hare Krishna mantra, keeping aside all our tension, all our designations, false designations, thinking that I'm so smart, I am CEO of a company, or I need a job. Let's keep aside everything and just chant for next 5 minutes. Is it okay? Okay. So can you please repeat after me? Jai Shri Krishna Chaitanya, Prabhu Nityananda, Shri Advaita, Gadadhara, Shivasadi, Gaura Bhakta Vrinda. Hare Krishna, Krishna Krishna, Hare Hare, Hare Ram, Ram Ram, Hare Hare, Hare Krishna, Hare